Show us your tips, midweek preview time. It is Bendigo Cup day tomorrow, so I'm going to have a quick look and share some quick thoughts on that card there, as well as look at the Kenzo meeting, which is a bit less than inspiring, to say the least. Cox Plate's in the book. Incredible performance from Via Sistina there. And we head towards Derby Day on Saturday, so a lot going on around the traps, but we'll get through this evening first and see if we can't build a little bank tomorrow for the Cup week ahead. Bendigo kicks us off where we're getting perfect conditions. Rail true, 20 mid-20s, no rain about. All systems go for what looks an interesting card with rail in the true on a good track. Sometimes it can play very much on pace and rails. I've gone a little bit that way for most of the cards, so let's keep an eye on track pattern as we get into the afternoon. Kick off with a 3-year-old maiden over the 1,000 metres, and we've lost Aqueduct, who wasn't the worst in this race, but I'm going to go with Mrs. Archibald on top. Gate 1, as I said, won't be a bad place to be. I like its resumption there at the behind point B at Moe. Big gap back to third. Should get a lovely run here. Second up, and I'm going to put it on top. I was looking for a bit of extra information, wondering why Electric Elvis came up so short, but I went and found out there was a very nice trial in New Zealand before it came over. Gate 12 may be the concern for it kicking off here, but the market certainly respects it. I guess with the scratching up the top there, I'll make it the main danger. And one that can run a price, another one maybe gate against, but I have liked the work of Hot Diggity Boom. Turning up here, its 20s might be the value play in the race. Mickey D hopefully showing some intent from that gate to get up on there. But this will have some winners going forward. A very interesting race to kick us off and plenty to learn there. The second is 1,100 metre benchmark 64, and I've put Wacken Jaja on top here. I thought it was a nice resumption in a benchmark 70. Hit the line quite well there. Nice drop in grade. Will sit closer than it did at the Valley with the good gate again. And with some even luck, I think it definitely fights out the finish here. Scared of Fragile Love, but resumes at 1,000 instead of 1,200 metres. Trials were soft. Did have a lovely win, a very impressive win at Sandown over 1,000 metres going out. But as I said, up to 1,200 will make it the danger in what isn't as deep a race as the first. The third is a benchmark 64. Don't enter these races, everybody. There's not a lot going here. For the sake of the tip, though, I'm going to go for two lightly raced ones in Foix. Big maiden win. Now looks ready to step up to 1,200 metres. And if I were to bet around 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, I dare say an each-way play on it might be the way I look. And I thought Autumn Camels hasn't put in a bad run this prep. I know it comes off a high-weight race there, which isn't necessarily always great form, but it is lightly raced. Not sure what happened in Adelaide the start before, but it, as I said, hasn't run badly this preparation and doesn't have as many convictions as the rest of these. Make it the main danger. Look, there is each-way prices about both of those, should you be so inclined. The fourth is a 1,300 metre benchmark 64. And I was giving Savvy Rocker a chance resuming on a Saturday 10 days ago. It was, I think it was a Saturday, either that or it was the Caulfield midweek meeting. Anyway, it was scratched. It wasn't scratched at all. It was played up in the barriers, was vetted, allowed to run, and conveniently ran last after that, unfortunately. But was a big price there. I think it comes back to 64 grade, 1,300 metres, looks good. Gate 2, Linda Meach, I suggest is going to be map positive. So I'm going to give it another chance. It goes on top from Harry's Yacht, who won't know itself coming back from the Tap Craig to this, where it chased a node. Obviously a much better setup for it here, and is the main danger. Fifth is a benchmark 70 over 1,300 metres here, and I'm with the market in the form of Floozy, who comes in with the bottom weight, gets Blake Shin, gets two beautiful trials, and has some very good form around Miss Aria, Material Dreams and Co. last prep. Good resumption point for it. Around the $3 mark looks fair enough. Calico Jack will lead this up, and as I've said, may well be in the right spot off a win. And the horse I would have been keenest to find here at $10 with Mickey D taking over after Tim Clark took more of a surreal approach on it last time out. Catahoula, I think that Kenzo form before that stacks up really well here. Unfortunately, we know the Hawks stable from the outside gate are probably going to be 3 lengths last at some point and flashing home, talking about what could have been. But any intent at all, I think it is an absolute live chance. And if swoopers are in play, $10 to me looks a more than fair price. But the map has me gravely concerned, particularly with that stable. The sixth and first leg of the quaddie, which we'll get to a bit later as well, is a benchmark 70 over the mile, and I have put Shaw on top. I don't necessarily think it should be as short as it is, but it resumed against some key rivals here, hit the line well, and from the inside barrier, should only have to really tag the Gaybot horse and Gin O'Clock, and if it pushes up there, it should be fighting at the finish from Gin O'Clock, as I said, who just has one job, and that is to get past the leader from the Waterhouse yard, so make it the main danger. And I was very, very interested in Served Cold resuming here. The more I think about it, just looking back at the market, the fact it's $10 might be the bet I'd go with and try and save on this favourite, see where the market heads. Because if there's any market support, this is a nice horse. Did some good stuff, obviously over a bit further last time out, headed to the Oaks. Has had plenty of time off, but the jump outs were really good and have found Shin first up from a nice gate. Could have some ability and might be worth finding out on. So very good value around it, but I am tipping the inside barriers here with Shaw on top for the time being. Let's see how the market comes out, because I think there's some freshies that are going to run well tomorrow. The feature is the Group 3, is it? Yeah, Group 3 Bendigo Cup, 2,400 metres. Usual suspects are all here, but I guess after learning the lesson last week, I'm going to put the import on top, and that is Sea King. Nice barrier for it. Has some good stuff overseas. Some nice runs at Ascot and such. And it stacks up well enough for this. It's around the $5 mark, so it will be the starting point for me in the race. Then I went to the Metrop to find the dangers, and I'll see, again, about covering both of these as well. With some small stakes, but that would be First Light. I thought it was held up at the top of the straight there in the Metrop. Should have finished closer. Gets Damien Lane, gets a reasonable barrier. $12 looks very good for it. You go back to the start before it destroyed a field in Sydney, so definitely stacks up here. I suggest an immediacy also through the Metrop. It sort of just went back and stayed there, but the stable seems to be peaking all of their staying prospects for next week. If it's not today, it might well be the old Long Black or the staying race on Cup Day. The other one, not the Cup itself, but the other 2,800 metre race on a day may be where it ends up going forward. Anything else? No, that's about it from that race. There. The 8th is an 1,100 metre benchmark 78, and I respect the fact the market has Mantua on top. I think it's too short. I think it's a bit of a trap here, because some very nice resumers at a price that I can see doing some causing some issues for this favourite. Sarasana was the horse I sort of started with. The trials were good this time in. It got out to a distance last time out, and I don't know if it necessarily handled getting out there as it headed towards that Oaks campaign. They've kept it fresh. They're kicking off 1,100 metres, and it has in the past been able to keep up and ride the pace over these shorter trips. So I was very interested at double figure price. Chased Philosopher in some trials, which is always going to be a good blowout. And I thought Brazen Lady may be short of its best, but did some good stuff last prep. Again, out around the 1,400 metre mark, but I really liked a lot of its form last time in, and that is a live chance here as well. So the more I think about this again, as we run this on the fly, having just completed my notes, I may back Sarasana, save Brazen Lady. The more I'm thinking about this one. I'll throw a few extras in the quaddie, though, because we're hoping for a bit of a split. The last, we go out to the 1,400 metres, we get to benchmark 78 territory, and Yellow Sam I made the case for when it was in, I think it was last Wednesday. Fly second up, had a good resumption, was another one that was snagged back in a bit as a victim of Caulfield there, hit the line beautifully, comes here, I think it's two and a placing from 3 third-up runs, gets a good, maps very well, and this is a more than winnable race for it. Very scared of Easy Done Off, a great return, a nice horse, as the market's it is the danger and an absolute live chance should you like it. But I think the fact that Yellow Sam's powder's been kept dry puts it right in the game here. There's a whirlwind look through the Bendigo meeting. Let's see if we can crack out a midweek quaddie here. First leg, we'll go 1, which is Viva Deal. 2, Gin O'Clock. 3, Shore. And 9, Served Cold. Second leg, 6, First Light. 9, Sea King. 10, Immediacy. 11, Sunset's going okay, gets Mickey D. Anything else? 13, Whiskey on the Hill, racing at the peak of its powers, I suggest. Third leg is 1, Ranting, first up for New Stable. It would have to find its previous life, but at 30s will make it value here. 2, Anilla. 4, Brazen Lady. 5, Sarasana. 9, Jewel Bay gets it on paces. And Mantua is the next. And we'll come home skinny up this last one. 1, Yellow Sam. 8, Hoo-Ha Havana. And 11, Easy Done. Omit whoever you feel you need to, but $100 gets you just on just under 30% of that. My best on the card, I struggled to find an absolute best. So I'll make it race 9, number 1, Yellow Sam. I think runs well. Value, as I said, one of those freshies. They're in that sprint race. Or that other O'Brien horse. Serve Cold race. Let's make it the value race. Race 6, number 9, Served Cold. The value on the Bendigo Cup meeting. Kenzo is also in play tomorrow, kicking off just after 2 o'clock. And we've also got a good track, beautiful weather, 3-metre rail. I suggest plays like it does most weeks, where you want to be on pace early, and hopefully we see them making ground by the end of the card. A 1,400-metre maiden kicks us off. And I think there's a nice way to start the day here with Bengal. Assuming J-Mac pushes forward, I'm hoping can push forward, either take up the running or sit off Sheba, maybe even find the 1-1. At $7, all but 1 last time out, when it was left a long way left in front from a long way out at Warwick Farm. I think it runs well here, and we get an each-way price to start the day. And if we are running on, a couple of ones to watch. Snitzenova comes off debuting on a lead as Rose Hill. I think it will be better served here. And Rhoda Giller trialled quite well for the Waller stable as well. And I can see there's just been money for that this afternoon. Make it next best in perhaps what is going to be the most interesting race on an otherwise less than interesting card. The second is a less than interesting race on a less than interesting card, and I'm less than interested in betting. 2,500-metre benchmark 78. I have given life to just about everything in this race. So I started, spent 5 minutes, and decided to just get on with things and go to race 3. Not for the sake of anything. Move on. The third is a benchmark 88, 1,250 metres. And this is another race I set out thinking I would just get to the end of it and declare Briasa unbeatable. I wobbled for about 5 minutes and then decided that Briasa is unbeatable. Unless something goes wrong here, she should be winning. Was very good last time out in her own defeat, but covering ground and still finishing not far off Ostraka. Before that, was unbeaten and looked stylish in doing so. So it is easy to like here. Inhibitions has been one of mine for years. We'll make it the danger. J-Mac, Gate 1, perhaps scary, and Deprivation is going well. So it's not completely a walkover, but I think Briasa is going to be very, very hard to beat. The fourth kicks off their quaddie, 800-metre benchmark 88. Not feeling it here either, but premise is on top. I know it's been nearly 2 years out of the winning stall, but it was very good last time out. Just missing behind Tavi Time. Did follow that through and hit the line with it, but if it's ever going to win another race, this will be it. And I thought Too Much Caviar is a scary one here. Gets Nash back on last time he was on it. He led and won on a Saturday, so I can see it being very much a scary horse here, but the market agrees. I'm going to go 2 from 4. Obviously, if there is a strong rails bias, you can flip them around. The fifth, 1,500-metre benchmark, 78. Forgiving Peace Officer last time out. It was never, ever on the track in all the form before that. Stacks up quite well for this. So I'm going to put it on top at value if we can get, just looking now, a couple of scratchings. $7, $3 a place to run first or second. Yeah, I'm happy to play with that. So it's the on top and Danger Ground Rush for Team Hawks, who I can forgive just about every run this prep. Does need to win one though. It has been a while, but going okay. Gets the right run for Tommy Berry. Just sort of a little bit short for a horse that doesn't particularly like getting its head in the photo. The 6 is an 1150 metre benchmark 72. And I've gone with the Godolphin horse, Fresh Hair and Driftnet. Went out with a win last time. It was in Sydney. 2 beautiful trials hit where it's led for, which doesn't always happen for these Godolphin horses. Led, cruised, kicked away and won quite softly both. I think it does the same here. Sets up great. So we'll put it on top from Userpin and Woolowin next best. I think they both are Saturday horses in the making, and we'll get there. Definitely live chances here, but I just think this Driftnet is also that. So as we head towards summer, we'll run well here. And let's wrap up 1400 metre benchmark 72. I'm in exact market order, which means I've got Little Jenny on top, but the friendship is starting to get very much tested. So maybe Darling Downs is the smarter play. Both runs this prepping have been good, and is $5. Hard to argue though that Little Jenny may be the way to go. So for the sake of the tip, I put the 2 on top. But as we get through the afternoon, and depends where I'm faring, Darling Downs might be the way I come home here. Concordia Wind, the other live chance in this race, in my opinion. Didn't take long at all to get through both those cards. Thank you for tuning in. Show us your tips. We'll be back for Derby Day. The Beaver will be back again. Apparently he's Group 1 only these days, so he will be joining us to get stuck into the Derby. What a fantastic card that's going to be. We've also got the Golden Eagle to look at. That will also be a cracker. Then we've got Cup Week coming up. There'll be a show Sunday afternoon previewing the Melbourne Cup, which, being brutally honest, doesn't look much like an all-time rendition. But we'll talk about all of that. I'll do Oaks Day, and before you know it, we'll be into the Champions Stakes Day as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been fantastic. Feedback's been good the last month or so, and just hopefully we can keep finding you a winner or two. Take care. Talk soon.